last video, I talked about how to repair a Samsung washing machine. In this video, I'll explain how to replace the brushes on the motor of this washing machine. Replace the brushes. This is a very serious problem, because a new motor costs about 2,500 rubles. That's quite expensive. And the brushes are much cheaper, so you can try to replace the brushes. Well, of course, you need to check for continuity first, and see if there's a short circuit between them. If there isn't, then you can start replacing the brushes. For this we'll need a soldering iron. We'll also need new brushes. They are usually sold like this. That is, they are still needed. Solder to the guide, because the ones with the guide are quite expensive. These are the brushes. And here in the motor, they cost, in special, the plastic casing which contains the bronze guide. We need to remove the plastic holder and take out the bronze guide and desolder the old brush from it. Bronze guide and desolder the old brush. We'll take a Phillips screwdriver. The old brush. For this we take a Phillips screwdriver and unscrew 2 screws of the brush holder. Here it is like this. Now we disconnect the contact from the brush. Press lever, detach contact with screwdriver, set motor aside. The contact is removed from the brush. We can set the motor aside to use the brushes. Disassemble. On working with the brushes. Disassembled the casing. It easily comes apart into 2 parts. This looks formed. We take out the brush. Here, key to note direction of cut, position of this contact. Cut and the position of this contact, because they should be the same. These are wearing out. One is smaller, one is bigger. So I'm changing both pieces as the machine might stop soon. Now let's turn on the soldering iron. This will be a spare. Turn on the soldering iron and start desoldering. And we start desoldering old brushes to solder them in there. New. Let's get started. We're desoldering the old brush from the bronze guide. It solders well, but desolders poorly. It's a paradox. Here's the spring. Keep in mind that the narrowing should be directed this way, towards the brush, towards the spring. Now we take the new brush and we measure the length needed for its operation, because there's way too much here. If you leave extra length, it will snag on the spring and won't work properly. We pull it out completely and we see how much we need to leave. So we need to leave about 3 centimeters. Cut it. We've trimmed the excess wire. Now we need to tin it using orthophosphoric acid. We lower within solder.
You need to be flawless in your connections.
Here the wire is well tinned. Now we take the guiding bronze part, we remember that when looking to the left, the light should be positioned away from us like this. We take the spring, insert on wire straight onto the wire. It should be straight, or we can place it directly into the guide. Now we can start it, the brush. Now it's just necessary. All left is to solder it on. Great. The wires
Here he is.
I soldered it on. But now we'll trim the excess and solder it a bit more. Better. We'll add more solder to cover all. We'll put the tin so that
it all flowed around. The brush is already soldered.
we look at its initial position. Completely comes out of its pocket. We bend it right away. Where? Down. In this position, we insert it into the housing. You can wipe the housing, or you can skip that step. Grooves here, they're used to working. There are special grooves and slots here, and it closes well like this. It closes well, like this. The brush is ready to be installed on the electric motor. Now we just need to solder the second one, and then we'll start the installation. Now we can start the installation on the electric motor. It's important to make sure that the cut fits tightly to the motor's rotor. There are guides. So we screw it on brushes of the electric motor housing. One. First part secured, second one too. You can clean it a bit more. The rotor laminations for better contact. But in my case they are not dirty yet, so I haven't cleaned them because it wasn't that long ago. The brushes were changed because there was likely a heavy load on the motor. Due to the drum bearings, they wore out quickly, probably due to the heavy load. We connect it here to the brush, the wire, power supply, and we just do the same with the second brush. We press, and we will do it No way. This motor has been working for me for about 7 years. I haven't had problems with it, except brush problems. One wears out more. One less, as you've seen for some reason. I read the forums, talked to specialists, they struggle to answer. Now we just need to install the motor in place. It is installed on the drum, so there are specific mounting points for it here. On the drum there are two protrusions. On one side and two on the other. It's very convenient to secure the electric motor. Using the connector with a lot of connections. We connect electric motor and we tighten it with 2 bolts of this kind, fastening. I tighten the bolts. It's necessary. Install drum drive belt. Drive of the drum with teeth facing inward. For this we put it on the pulley, the motor, and while turning the drum pulley we tighten it.
Then, to check how it spins. It spins easily and without any jams.
Well, the machine is assembled, and the first trial was successful. After started working twice as much. It spins better, rings out better, and doesn't get stuck as much. Our work was not in vain. The wife is happy, and the kids are too.
I indeed love my husband very much.
Wife and you.